Hey, and welcome to your practice. Today's practice is a condensed fluid practice. So part of the intention behind this series of short practices is to reconnect with our fluid body, rediscover the curvature of our spine, find ways where we can bring rhythmic movement into our practice and our life, and in the moments when we're feeling especially stuck and stagnant and just dense, we can have a few of these practices to come to and reconnect with that fluidity, so that you can be a little more flexible in life, right? Go with the flow a little bit more, but also to move that stagnant energy out of your body, right? So we're getting a little bit increasingly more rhythmic through this series. So the idea is that as you start to open up the body, as you start to open up these pathways, it becomes a little more seamless for you, right? So for this practice, I'm going to give you opportunities for some sort of fluid rhythmic movement within the shapes that you can choose to explore or not. But I just want to invite that in so that you can see in even some of these more static poses, you can still find some movement in the spine and move with your breath. And then we'll get into Namaskar from the back of our mat, you know, that repetitive meditative movement. And we'll only do it a few times in this practice, but you can move through that as many times as you'd like if you come back to this practice or do it on your own. And then a couple of seated grounding postures, okay? So let us begin on our back. I'm going to move to my mat. And I've really been enjoying beginning in Supta Baddha Konasana. So as you lay back, bring the soles of the feet together. Let me move. So hopefully I'm in a frame. Soles of the feet together, knees open out. Again, you can place a block behind each leg. Bring one hand over your belly, one hand over your heart. And you could move the hand that's on your belly down a little bit to your lower belly, that pelvic bowl, the area around your sacrum, you know, at the front. This is the area of your second chakra, which is associated with the element of water. Begin to connect to the rhythm of your breath. Notice the flow of your breath like a wave as it moves along your spine from your belly to your heart and back again. Breath, like water, is a great messenger through our body. So begin to attune your awareness to your breath. The quality of our breath can inform the quality of our physical state of being, our mental state, our emotional state. Spend a few more breaths here. Perhaps setting an intention or a prayer or reciting a mantra. Opening the eyes, bringing your hands behind the legs and drawing the legs together. Knees come into the chest. Make some circles around your sacrum. So massaging the sacrum here. And circling in the other direction. Okay, feet on the earth, hip distance apart. If you were to reach down with your fingertips, you could just graze the back of your heels and place your whole spine on the earth. So feel grounded in your whole spine. Some rhythmic movements in and out of a bridge shape, so that as you inhale, you press through the soles of the feet, begin to roll up the spine, hips rise. And on an exhale, you roll down the spine. So this doesn't have to be a very large movement, especially in the beginning of your practice. But again, just the intention is to find some fluidity. Notice the curvature of your spine. And then you could get the arms involved so that as you inhale and you rise the hips, the arms come alongside your ears. And as you exhale, you roll down the spine and the arms follow until they find the earth alongside your hips. So matching movement with breath. Inhale, coming up with or without your arms. And exhale, rolling down. Continuing in this way, or you can even layer some movement on so that as you roll down the spine, the hips can kind of sway from side to side. Your choice. Same thing as you come up the spine, the hips could sway side to side and then rolling down. So about 3 more cycles wherever you've chosen to go. Unhurried breath for 1 more round. Pausing at the bottom. Hug the knees back in. Gently let your knees drop over to the left as the right arm extends out to a T. Soften the right shoulder toward the earth. Inhaling, knees rise. Exhale, send them all the way over to the right. Grounding the left shoulder. Extending through the arm. As you inhale, come back. We will roll up to a seat. So you can roll along the spine, or you can move on to one side. Coming up to a seat, I'm going to turn toward you now. Drawing the left heel in toward your seat, extend the right leg out to a half V and flex the foot. Slide your right hand down the shin, extend your left arm over the ear. So just a few breaths here. Inhale through center, go the other way. Send your left fingertips to the earth, right arm over the ear. And then we'll move side to side. So, inhale, rise. Exhale over to the right. Pause, or option to send your right hand behind you. Lift your hips and curl back. Exhale, release. And over to the left. So in your own way, with your own breath, you can, as you come over to the right, keep hand on the shin, or hand comes behind you, and you lift. Again, these don't have to be very large movements, but you're just noticing how some fluidity moves through your body, right? How it feels in your body. So once more. Okay, feel center, and then the other side. So right heel in, left leg out. Left hand down the shin, right arm up and over. Breathing here. Coming through center, and then over to the right. And now with breath, so inhale is the transition, exhale over to the left, pause, or hand behind you, lift your hips, coming down, and then going the other way. Inhale, rise, lift, maybe. So allowing breath to inform your movement always, especially when we connect with the water element. You can even imagine that you are moving through water. Okay, last time here. Back through center. Pause, and we will transition onto hands and knees now. So noticing that your fingers are spread wide and your wrists are aligned under your shoulders. Feeling that wonderful fluid movement in our spine so that every time you inhale, the sit bones, the heart, and the gaze rise, and as you exhale, you press through the earth, rounding up into the spine. With breath. Inhaling. And exhaling. So, especially in this practice, you could get the hips a little bit more involved. Make this look perhaps more like a wave. You could also bring some circular movement into your body. A wonderful place to close the eyes and allow some spontaneous, uninhibited movement to flow through your body. It's wonderful when you are practicing alone and you can completely let yourself go. Be unapologetically you. Be authentically you. Okay, let's meet together on hands and knees. And as you inhale, sweep the right arm up. Exhale, thread under your body and just touch your left ribs. And then inhale, strum the body open, the right arm. Exhale, thread under, catch your left ribs. Inhale, strum the body open. This time, thread all the way under and notice if you can land on your right cheek and shoulder. You can always bring a block or a blanket in here, and you can extend the left arm as well. Even breath. Slowly we unwind. Come back to hands and knees and feel that cycle on the other side. So beginning with the left arm, inhale, left arm rises. Exhale, thread and just take hold of your right ribs. Then stroke the body open. Inhale. Exhale, thread. Inhale, open up. And now we'll land. Exhale, land your left shoulder down onto the earth, and maybe you decide to extend forward through the right arm. Okay, unwind through hands and knees. Excuse me. From here, coming into Anahatasana. So the hips stay aligned over the knees, but just the arms walk out in front of us as you begin to melt the chest and the head down to the earth. Again, you can bring a block in here for support. Breathing here is wonderful, or an opportunity for some more rhythmic movement. So similarly to when we're on hands and knees, take an inhale, soften the front of the heart. Exhale, round up into the spine. Inhale, the heart soften and open to the earth. Exhale, rounding up. So just like you're creating that wave in your spine. Two more breaths wherever you are. Okay, then we'll slide all the way through onto our forearms. So let me make sure that you can see me. Okay, elbows align under shoulders. I'm kicking something behind me. Draw the center of the chest between the window of your arms into Sphinx shape. Breathe here. This is what we think of as a more traditional Sphinx, or you can soften your chin toward the chest and roll ear to shoulder, which can feel really nice on the neck. But be aware that you aren't collapsing into your shoulders when you do this, so you're still rooting strongly through the forearms, and you're resisting the urge to dump weight into your shoulders. Another breath. Open into Sphinx, and as you exhale, lay your body down onto the earth. Feel full prostration, full pranam. You can rock the heels here, side to side. Feel some fluidity in your sacrum. Release your low back. And then open the feet nice and wide. Mat width apart or wider even. Feel free to take up space. Bring the fingertips back behind your shoulders. Tent your hands. You're on the pads of your fingers and you're making tents with your hands. So big, spacious cobras. As you inhale, rise up out of the earth. Exhale, bend the elbows. Lead with the heart, soften down. Two more of those. Inhale, rise up. Again, doesn't have to be big. Exhale. Once more. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, take it to the earth. Press yourself through hands and knees, and we'll come together in downward facing dog now. So tucking the toes, hips rise, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So remember when we were in Anahatasana, our knees were down and we found that movement in our spine. You can even take that here in down dog, so you can stay in the rhythm of your breath, if you choose. Okay, invite your feet to open wide. Bend the knees as much as you need. Walk your hands to your feet. So you're in sort of a wide Uttanasana at the back of your mat. Catch opposite elbows, body sways out. Release the arms. Hands can press into shins as you inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way overhead. Look up. Exhale, hands join together at your heart. Okay, so Feet align under your sit bones. This will be our Namaskar pattern from the back of our mat. And again, we'll just do it a few times together here, but you could continue on as many rounds as you'd like. Bring your hands around to support your sacrum. Lengthen your tailbone toward your heels. Roll the shoulders back. Lift into the center of the heart. So you're just arcing back slightly here. And as you do this a few rounds, you might find that you have more space to curl back. But otherwise, it's just a very gentle lift at the center of your heart. With an exhale, hands will glide from your sacrum to your heels down the backs of your legs. Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway, hands on the shins or the earth or a block. Exhale, walk the hands out in front of you and come down to kneeling on your shins. If you can, keep your toes tucked here and sit back on your heels. So a wonderful opening for the feet. Fingertips behind you. Lift the center of the heart, just like when we were standing. As you exhale, you'll bow down to the earth. So invite the forehead to touch. Inhale, rise. Fingertips behind you. Lift your heart. Exhale, bow down. And I should have mentioned, but if it's too much to bring the fingertips behind you, you can place your hands on your thighs and just lift the heart from there. Exhale, come forward through hands and knees, and then the arms walk all the way out into Anahatasana, where you can seemingly pause or find that wave in your spine. Slide all the way through into Sphinx. So on your forearms, inhale. Exhale to the earth. Feet and fingertips go wide. 3 spacious cobras. Inhale. Rising up. Exhale. Soften down. Just twice more. Inhale. Up. Exhale. Unhurried. Inhale. So only at the peak of our breath are we at the peak of the shape. It takes the whole breath to arrive. And the whole exhale to come down. Through hands and knees. And returning to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. And again, you pause in what we perceive as stillness, or you find that flow of your spine. Bend the knees as much as you need. Walk your hands to the back of your mat. Feel Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, soften. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Lift your gaze. Exhale, bring the hands around to feel your sacrum. Roll the shoulders back, elbows hug the midline. Lift your heart, pour out. Exhale, hands from sacrum to heels, down the backs of your legs. Inhale, halfway rise. Hands can press into shins. Exhale, come to that kneeling position. See if you can keep the toes tucked as you sit back on the heels, hands on the thighs or fingertips behind you. Exhale, feel the earth. Inhale, rising up. Exhale. Invite this to be like a whole body prayer. Okay, through hands and knees. Anahatasana, arms walk out in front of you. With or without movement. Sliding through into Sphinx on the forearms. To the earth are spacious cobras. And you could make like a figure 8 pattern with your shoulders now. So one shoulder leads. And don't overthink it. Just Allow it to be spontaneous. If this does not feel authentic, you leave it out. Okay, to the earth, hands and knees, pressing back, downward facing dog. So we'll take one more round here together, and again, you can continue on, but just to set up the pattern for you, one more round here. Bend the knees, walk the hands back. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, soften and bow. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring the hands around to feel your sacrum. So imagine that you're climbing up the spine, lift the heart, and that's how you pour out. And down the backs of your legs, a massage, a moment of care for yourself. Inhale, lengthening. Walk forward, come to kneeling. Okay, so hands on thighs, hands behind you, or you could lift your hips and come into a camel shape. So this is going to be much stronger, right? But I just want to give you the option, should you choose. And if you're taking camel, hands can stay on sacrum for support and come to your heels, but you would not be in rhythmic movement. You would just take about 3 deep breaths here. If you're in the other variations, you take the rhythmic movement. And coming out, passing through hands and knees, arms walk out, Uttanasana. Sliding through Sphinx shape. Exhale, release. Those spacious cobras just up and down, or a spacious rolling Uttanasana. And with your breath, this time, we will meet together in Balasana, child shape, so big toes together, knees open wide, back of the mat. Forehead down, arms can be outstretched or arms can wrap around your body. Enjoy a few expansive breaths into your belly. Reconnect with your sacred intention or prayer. Okay, we're going to come down onto our backs once again and feel a static bridge shape. So if you have a block and you need something more restorative and supportive, you place a block underneath of your sacrum and you can play with the varying heights of the block, right? Or we can just come in and pause for several rounds of breath if they are available. So noticing that you can just graze your heels here. Do that lengthening of your tailbone so you feel your whole spine grounded into the earth. And in total peace, as you're ready, rising up with or without the support of your block, shoulders roll underneath of you. If you're unsupported, you can hold the heels or you could interlace your hands. Continue to ground down into the soles of the feet, making space to rise up. If you are unsupported and need to come down and then back in, no problem. over the next few breaths, let's make our way back down. Once again, draw the knees lovingly into the chest. And it might be nice here to take a happy baby, so lifting the feet, you can take hold of the shins or the soles of the feet, drawing the knees down. And here can be nice to rock a little side to side. You can also extend one leg at a time. So many ways to play with and incorporate rhythmic, fluid movement into your practice that doesn't have to be overly complicated, right? You don't have to overthink it. It can be seemingly simple. And a pigeon variation of your choice. So if you're already on your back, we are already on your back, but if you'd like to stay on your back, it can feel a little jarring to come back up to seated. You can do pigeon shape from here, so crossing your right ankle over first. I'm going to come up and do single pigeon as an option because I think it would be really lovely. But again, if you're just not feeling it, you stay on your back. Do a reclined pigeon variation. But if you're in that single pigeon, you know, upright, a block underneath of your right seat can feel wonderful here. And then as you come down, you can also place a block underneath of your head. So if you're ready, coming down, or if you're on your back, finding that manageable edge for you. We won't be here long, just several rounds of grounded breath. You're ready, releasing this right side and then making your way onto the left side. I'm actually just going to turn all the way to the back of my mat, but you can switch sides in any fashion that works for you. If you're on your back, again, find that manageable edge. If you're upright, invite support in where it feels nourishing, maybe a block underneath of your forehead, just a few rounds of breath. Last 2 or 3, wherever you are. Let's release the side. If you are elsewhere, return to your back. If you are already on your back, make your way into Shavasana. Again, give yourself permission to take up space. You can let your feet go a little wider than usual, let your arms go a little wider than usual. Close the eyes, and I'll just walk you into relaxation. And again, the invitation is to stay as long as you're life rhythm allows. Giving yourself lots of time and space to absorb the benefits and blessings of practice today. You can imagine here that you are a buoy floating atop the surface of the water. You feel yourself soften and become light. You allow yourself to be held a little lighter so that you can float. And your body curves around the ebb and flow of the water. Imagine yourself here. Warm sun shining down upon you. Or perhaps bathing in the moonlight. Leave yourself here. Enjoy as long as